give me platinum plaque. I'm a goon or something, I make do with that. Ain't here to small talk, don't need the chat. Know that I was made in the lab. The scientist screaming, oh my God. Give him swagger, a Tone Beach bar. Let him hit the streets, let them die. What I mean to be great when you at halftime. When you're 20 years old, never had a touchdown. When you lose a control, all your brother's been gone. You're confused, you're alone, never earned you a dime. I got the goal, I think I'm gonna win. Place in the morning, yeah.
Hey, welcome to the JustSayN Podcast. I'm Furman along with my lovely co-host and her absence should be timing in soon. Low. We're streaming live with the good vibes from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas. We're here to inspire, uplift, and just keep it real. And so let's dive into some positivity today. We're very honored, very excited to be with y'all one more time. You know, we live stream every Wednesday, of course. And most definitely, we always want to drop some gems, some jewels, your nuggets, you know it. But most importantly, we always want to showcase awesome individuals, every man, woman, and child who is doing some awesome things in this generation, all about making an impact, of course. And we have a young man who's doing that exactly himself. He's a poet, he's a writer. I had a privilege to connect with this young man. Big shout out to Mrs. Jones in the Fort Worth, Texas area. She connected us. She big on promoting major artists as yourself, Shavon. And I just want to thank you for taking time out of your productive schedule. You have a book that's already out called Let me say it. I don't want to mess it up. Let me say it. But he has a book out, of course. It's available on Amazon. The Soul Panther. Did I say that right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure, like I said, but hey, because it's all about working the spirit, as of course. So he does have a book out called The Soul Panther. It is available now on Amazon. He's going to give us a rundown on the book, what the book is all about, how can you get the book, and most definitely, we're gonna have a good time. So we have Lo in the building as well. Lo, how you doing? Of course, it's always an honor and a privilege to be with you as well. And we got our guest with us, Shavon, a young man that's doing some major things. He's a poet, he's a writer, and he's gonna talk about his new book. And of course, me and Lo welcome you, Shavon, as well. So for no further ado, I'm gonna pass it on to Lo. I am a gentleman, cuz, so I'll pass it on to you, Lo. So go ahead and let's get this show crack-a-lacking, of course.
Well, thank you, Miss Barnes. Thank you, Mr. Barnes, for being on the show. We appreciate it. I'm so sorry about my tardiness due to my internet. It sucks. I really need an extra, one of those little routers or something. I don't know, upstairs versus downstairs.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you guys for having me on here, man.
We are glad to have you on the show, like Furman said. So, so we do have some questions for you, okay? So, but first, what we would love for you to do is just go ahead and just tell us about yourself. Let's start there. I'm sorry, I was trying to catch on.
I grew up in South Carolina until I was about 13, and I moved to Virginia. My mom made that decision based on, what our surrounding environment was at that point in time. I've been writing poetry since I was maybe 6, 7 years old. Poetry was always my way out, my escape. Is always how I expressed myself through the things that I couldn't, verbalize. I could always just write about it and express myself that way. But poetry was like my second love. My first love is history. And I mean, to me, those two kind of bred who I am today. Right.
You kind of, you froze up. So you said that you've been writing poetry since you were 6 or 7 years old. And when did you know that, hey, you know what? I want to take my gift. I want to take my gift because everything that we have is a gift. But I want to take my gift and I want to do something with it. When did you finally step out? Because it takes people a lot of time to kind of step out of their comfort zone and do what they love to do. So when you realize hey, look, this is what I need to do. I want to share this with the world.
I realized this about maybe when I was 19, maybe 19, 20. I feel like this has been my calling for a while, because it's like I always had a lot to say. Like whenever I wrote, it's like I always poured myself into the paper and pen. So I was gonna publish a book maybe 10 years ago. But I'm glad I waited because the message wouldn't have been what it is now. Because I think that the experience between now and back then is what also shaped the book. My experiences drew me closer to God. So this book is very, based in faith. And I'm glad that I released it now as opposed to back then, because it back then I didn't have a clear message. It was just like emotions and feelings all over the place. As to this right here, it has its own theme, its own identity.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. You guys are freezing up so bad, so I don't know when you start and when you stop. I'm so sorry about this here. It's totally my fault, so it's kind of hard. You just stopped talking. I was like, I know this is weird. So go ahead, Jay.
I got you.
Since
I got you.
I'm gonna have to restart it. I'll probably have to restart my internet.
All right, I got you. No problem. We're gonna keep the show rolling. Merlin's fun. You mentioned your way. We're writing. You mentioned that was your way of escape. Enlighten us. I know people have their own moment, their own sanctuary, their own serenity. So explain more that when you mentioned that was your escape when it came to writing. Elaborate on that more.
Okay. Where I'm from and how I grew up, it wasn't the easiest, and I'm pretty sure a lot of African Americans or minorities can relate to this. We are taught to keep everything in, and I mean through that, that builds pressure. And pressure can burst pipes. So poetry was like it was my outlet. It was how I decompressed, and also poetry is also my way of internalizing how I really felt, because it made me think about what I was feeling.
Yeah, because that's why I want to elaborate on. Because I know you said that, and also big shout out to Mrs. Jones. She's in the building. She said it. So I'm gonna put this comment over what she said. She said most men don't speak about their personal feelings or intellect, or even try to revisit what has happened in the past to shape them to whom they are today. Thank you for sharing through your craft. That's another thing you mentioned with men. We was never taught to be big communicators. I think that we're learning that now. To be able to speak, to express ourselves. A lot of times we lead to our counterpart, we lead to the women in our lives to bear that courage, I guess, bear our burden, which I don't think we should do that, because they're not meant to just carry our burden, to carry our load, you know what I'm saying? But to be able to express and to be able to communicate is very, very profound, because we do hold a lot of stuff inside. As men, we do. We'll vent to other male counterparts, but when it comes to our counterpart, that woman, we really don't do that. Why is that? But we'll vent to other guys, but when it comes to our wives, our girls, whatever, it's very, very hard. I don't know why. I think we just have to break that stigma. What you say about this, Shavon?
Okay, well, first off, I want to thank Miss Jones for connecting me with you guys. None of this would be possible without her. But to answer your question, we do it with guys because guys don't really try to unpack it. We can say it and then okay, we just let it go. Women, we tell our women these things, they actually want to know the reason behind it. They actually want you to feel supported and cared about. Mm-hmm. As for like men, we don't really. We don't really dig deep in our feelings. Well, okay, you know what? You going through it, man. Hey, it's just your turn right now. Women, they're gonna investigate more, because they want to know that it's okay to be vulnerable with them. As the men's like, nah, we ain't doing all that.
That's a really good answer. That is a really good answer, and I think you are definitely onto something for sure. Do you think that is because but when I think about it though, or when you really think about it, unfortunately, a lot of our when you think about two-parent households versus one-parent households, those one-parent households where those children are raised by females, grandmothers, mothers. Do you still have the same opinion when it comes to that, or do you think that is a factor as it plays into the reason of why men have such a hard time trying to trying to give you trying to give them like I'm gonna use Mrs. Jones' words, trying to give them that boost, that courage to like even say something about what is going on in their life?
I think that there is a factor into who have been, because I was raised by a single parent household, and I mean, your mom can only do what she can do, but it's the impact, the influence of the environment, like the whole city. It takes a village. So even though my mom was very loving, like she is very loving, and she do all she can for me, but it was like still when I go outside of the house, you got to put on this certain persona, because where I'm from, when you smile, that was seen as a weakness. So it's like you had to be kind of like in like a hard shell. But
That's interesting you say this, because I'm like playing this back in my head, like how often do I see my son smile, or how often did I see the men in my life smile? I mean, my dearly beloved past brother, he smiled all the time. He smiled often, and he was, when I say the manliest of the manliest man, like, and he loved his daughter. He loved his daughter. Great communicator with his daughter. Me and him used to butt heads because he was my younger brother. But of course, I used to beat him up. It's okay. But when we became older, we were like best friends. That was my best friend. That was my bestie. That was my bestie. But I'm trying to really think, like, I don't know, like my youngest son now, I don't know if it's a generational thing or not. Like I see my son smile, but he just doesn't randomly smile. And I guess I never really paid attention to that. So that point is very interesting that you said. I'm gonna start paying attention to that. Cause yeah, even though my brother was a smiley guy, I think you're right. I don't recall ever just seeing them out in public just like free. It was always like a tensive type of situation. Like they had to,
I mean, that's just not like in our own neighborhoods, but out anywhere, because I feel like we are pressured like by our society, and like again, smile can be seen as weakness, and what helped me get out of that was me realizing that okay, I'm not where I was. I don't need to have that same mindset, and also that mindset, it wasn't productive. It was counterproductive as to where I was trying to get in life, who I was trying to be in life. And so what helped me was honestly reading the word more consistently. I became confident in that, and also who I am and what the Lord can do through me. And also, this is unpopular and it's not very common. I went into therapy, and that it helped me as well. It helped me identify with what I was struggling with, which is dissociation. And a lot of those things that we show, we don't know it, but it's definitely like passed down trauma, generational trauma.
Yeah, that is true. That is so true. Why do you think generational trauma is such a hard thing to overcome?
Because sometimes it's always hard to unlearn things, because you learn those things based on your environment. That you learn those things to survive. But it's like when you get out of that environment, that survival dog eat dog, eye for an eye environment, you don't need that no more. But it's hard to like just drop that when that's all you've ever known. So that's why, like, when I went to therapy, it showed me like, okay, you know what? I don't need this anymore. I needed this for where I was, not for where I'm going.
That is interesting. I think therapy is more accepted now than it was, especially I would say in our generation, Furman, growing up. That was not something that particularly our community did. If there was a problem, you just look. It wasn't a problem. Let's just put it that way. It was never focused on. It was never an issue. I don't think the focus was put on those problems, and I think that's why a lot of people are willing to accept hurt and pain and all that stuff. And it's very interesting that we talk about generational curses or problems that have occurred in our families and how it is passed down. But I think this generation is one of those generations that is meant to break it for sure, because they don't want to be a part of that. I've heard a lot of millennials say, "Oh, well, we are that generation that we are breaking the curse," and I was like, "Well, dang, I guess if you can say so, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, it is because I see more and more people, more that are accepting of different things. So I see the change in the family dynamic, but it's still, even though I see the change, it's still very poor as well. It's not great in a lot of situations, in a lot of family situations, especially when money isn't involved. So to walk your path and to know that you had your vision early in life, that's truly a blessing. It's truly it really is, because a lot of people get stuck, and they get stuck on not knowing what they want to do. So yours is truly a blessing for sure. Um, I do want to know though, um, without giving too much away, what is the what is the Soul Panther really about?
Okay, the Soul Panther is about honesty, trials, and tribulations. It's just about mastering the fire in you without being consumed by it. And it's about, choosing discipline over impulse. It's about being intentional instead of just reacting because you feel attacked. And this it's about being powerful without being destructive. Because when I was younger, and this is where it all started for me. There was something that happened to me that was very traumatic, and that impacted me my whole life without me even recognizing it. And all this trauma is mentioned inside the book, but it's just about me overcoming that trauma, and also, with God, while also drawing closer to God.
Mm-hmm.
Without God, I wouldn't be here today without God.
Yeah, that's deep right there. That's deep. Furman?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I know this whole entire episode is we had a lot of trauma being talked about. We had a lot of therapy being thrown out there as well. Generational trauma has been thrown out there as well. Also, I believe in healing. I really do. People should be healed individually before coming together as a unit, as come together as one. Because I know a lot of times individuals bring their baggage into someone else's life, who I consider an innocent bystander, which I don't use that for an excuse. Anger, things of that nature, how we grew up, what we associate ourselves with. The book that I have in my library, The Laws of Human Nature, talks about how everything starts there within our childhood. The things that we was introduced to. Some of y'all may came from molestation background. Some may came from the midst of violence, where they seen the parents fight all the time. And I grew up in that type of environment where my parents fought all the time. So I grew up in that type of environment as a little boy, seeing that. And it is very hard for that, because I had to go to counseling myself. I did counseling when I was probably like middle school. Was it going to middle school? I had to do the counseling for that, because that's something that's not normal, in my opinion, of course. But to overcome those boundaries and overcome those challenges and overcome the hurdles, but also to be able to talk about these things with other people. What gave you enough courage to share these things? Why now? Why share these things now? And a lot of times when it comes to sharing personal things, part of us don't want to share it with the world, because the world will use our weakness against us. That makes sense?
Oh yeah, no, that's 100.
And honestly, that's part of the reason.
100.
I'm sorry?
I said that's 100.
That's part of the reason as to why I was like, I guess, kind of nervous about publishing it, because it's like, this is my truth, but I cannot no longer control the narrative of how somebody interpret it whenever it's out there.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, I can't pull that back. Like, once it's out there, it's out there. But what made me want to share it was, at first, I didn't know a name for what I was feeling. Like I couldn't control my body. I mean, there are times where I still dissociate. I'm not sure you guys are familiar with the dissociation, but I dissociate even still. So my journey is ongoing. But me not having a name for it at first was what was like the thing that pushed me the most. If I'm going through this, somebody else can be going through this as well, and they may not have a name for it either. So it's like my goal was to bring awareness to dissociation, grief, depression, and also the awareness of what God can do for you. I thought me dissociating was the worst thing that could happen to me, but now I say it differently. Me dissociating was God's way of saying, you know what, right now this is too much. So I'm gonna protect you from yourself.
Okay.
Because whenever I would feel too much, I would dissociate. And me dissociate. If I could compare it to something, have you ever seen the movie Get Out?
Yeah,
It's
I never watched it, but I know you're talking about.
kind of like going to the sunken place. You become like a shell of yourself. And there are times where I would lose hours, days, even weeks. You would ask me, well, what happened then? I'm like, I don't know. Like, but you was there. Yeah, I was there, but I wasn't really there.
Were you technically going through a psychosis, do you think?
Or
did it ever come that far?
No, I don't think that it did, but I do know that when I identified it and I internalized like what I was feeling, I became more aware of the symptoms before I would dissociate, so I could ground myself before it got to that point. Sometimes.
Okay.
But it happened. It would happen whenever like I would feel too much, and my body would pretty much pull me back to keep me from breaking down.
Yeah. Well, it's a way for your body to protect itself anyway. You know, I think a lot of people, that's why a lot of people will have amnesia whenever they go through something that is traumatic, because they want to block it out. A lot of victims that suffer from sexual abuse, sexual assault, all of those things, that has a huge impact on their mental health. And it helps them survive. It is a fight or flight moment. It is the body's way of saying, hey, I'm trying to survive here. So yeah, no, definitely. I get where you're going at right here. There are a lot of people out there that I wish would receive help. Although, you know, I think this point in time, there's a lot of therapy available for a lot of people, but it is still very underfunded state to state. Here in Texas, it is, even though it is spoke widely about, it is still something that needs to be worked on, something that needs to be funded, and it's something that is not really taken just that serious to the people who would be able to provide help for those people who are in that situation. But when I actually do have a question for you. When you were going through that trauma, what was your support line?
I didn't really have support, but it wasn't like because no one wanted to be there. I didn't tell anyone because like that's how traumatic it was. I went inward instead of out with it. You know, I kind of like put it behind the wall, and the emotions and all that was just behind there until like it was 2015. I had told my aunt what had happened to me as a child, and it's like that whole wall just came crumbling down, and I had broke down then. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was. I mean, at like now, my support system they are strong. Like they are there. They are present. You know.
That is beautiful. That I'm so glad to hear that. You know, look, I'm very proud. Look, I'm my friend right here, my BFF right here. He knows that I'm in school going into psychology. So when I hear that you have a support system, I love that. That is kudos to your people. And it does not have to necessarily be family. It can be friends, whatever gets you through your emotional distraught time. That is who your support system is, and who is consistent. Who is consistent, because consistency is key. And even with yourself, I remember having a doctor friend. Well, she's still my friend, Lord. Don't kill me, Dr. Corona. Don't kill me, Dr. Corona. So I remember we would have these like for lunch. We were both in law enforcement, and so but I would go with her. Like for my lunch break, I would go and talk to her a lot, and we spent a lot of time together. And one of those things we would talk about was just, man, I'm sorry. Hold on. Wait.
But we want to do. We want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. Thank everybody that's watching us. Big shout out to Herman in the comment section. Big shout out to Mrs. Jones, and big shout out to everyone else. We always want to acknowledge the people that is watching us, of course. So once again, let's get back into it. Being open, and what I mean is just now. Do you see a shift in that, Shavon, with everybody being open now? People actually coming to the knowledge who they are, not to be ashamed, or not to be guilty, because I know where that guilt. And at the end of the day, everybody want to be face, right? Everybody want to play the face, but not realizing that, hey, I'm hurting myself in the long run. You mentioned something about protecting you from yourself. I know at times we could be our own worst enemy of sorts. What you say about that? Getting out of our own way. We hear that all the time.
I think that being honest with yourself is a great thing, because when I went to therapy, it brought emotional intelligence and also emotional awareness. And before, never I felt anything that I wasn't familiar with, I converted it to anger. And it's like that's how I misused instead of internalizing. Okay, what is it that I'm feeling? What caused me to feel this way? And when I started asking the right questions, when I started getting, solutions, and I think like, hurting yourself in that way, it refuses you to face the reality of what you're going through. You of course you're hurting yourself, but you can also hurt others through like, lashing out because you are afraid or not willing to face what is going on internally inside of you.
Right, because I know that a lot of times we always want to sort the violence. We all want to sort the chaos. I know I work in law enforcement. Matter of fact, Lo, she was in law enforcement for 25 years. She recently retired from law enforcement, worked within the jail. And we see a lot of individuals, they feel like lashing out in anger, get their point across, which we know that that's a taught behavior. We see that if I lash out in anger, I get my point across. How can we change that narrative that we don't have to sort the violence, we don't have to sort the chaos, just to get our point across? At the end of the day, individuals are crying out for help, but they feel that if I lash out in anger and violence, I get the attention I'm seeking for. What you say about that?
I think honestly, for me, I would say therapy and the Bible, man. The Bible has saved me in ways that more than ways I can speak of. But I think it was also unlearning that just because you're the loudest in the room doesn't mean that you're right. And also that you can be powerful and still be calm. You can be powerful and still seem controlled. And for me, that was probably like the biggest thing to unlearn, was that, okay, you know what? I don't like what you're saying to me, so we got to do something. We got to get physical, or I got to get loud. That, to me, that doesn't show that that you're strong. It doesn't show strength. It just shows that you lack control.
Yeah, because I know you see that a lot, the anger, the frustration. So when it comes to our young boys, they feel if they see dad beating on mom, they think that's normal. And what they end up doing, they end up doing the same thing. You know, your wife is not a punching bag at all. You know what I'm saying? And we thinking that that's the answer, and it's not. And I see a lot of that in our community, a lot. And we have to change this narrative, and we have to change it because we put on this facade, we put on this mask, like we okay, and we're not okay. Don't tell me I'm fine, and you see that I'm self-destructive. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we'll pat each other on the behind and say, "Oh, you good," but I'm not good. You know what I'm saying? It's leading to destruction, and a lot of times people see that and don't say anything. And you mentioned by having a strong support system. I believe in accountability. I believe in keep it honest with me, keep it 1,000 with me. Don't lie to me. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell me I'm good and you know I'm not good. Yeah, that makes sense what I'm saying.
It makes sense, but I've also been on the other side of that as to where, like, you know, you don't want to burden or feel like you're burdening anybody else with your problems. So it's like with that, I think like that it shows who your real friends are.
Yeah. Bingo. You said it. You said it.
But yeah, because I mean, with that, like, it shows you your real friends. But as soon as your real friend, it's not going to be a burden. It's like, okay, you know what? You carrying this. Let me help you. We can carry it together. Like one of my biggest, I guess, supporters, other than my family, is probably the mother of my child. She was the reason why I had, because I went to therapy back in 2015 when everything happened. She's the reason why I went back to therapy. You know, and you know,
did she feel like it wasn't resolved and you needed to go back? What clues, like, did you show signs, clues? I know you said that you would disassociate yourself. Was she recognizing that?
The thing is, she actually got she went to college for like psychology and all that. So yeah, so she
had somebody.
she got a master's in that and all that. So she recognized it, and she was like, "Hey, I see what you're going through." Like she had saw me through the mask.
Yeah,
and also it gave me that push. Before I was like, no, I'm good. You know, I figured out myself and all that. But her seeing me, it gave me the push to want to actually get help, because it's like, okay, the things that I'm doing are not only hurting myself, they are hurting you as well, and you don't deserve it.
Right. Hey, you know what? Repeat that again.
Don't you know you had a blessing? You had a blessing there to help you, to guide you to something that you needed. That blessing was there. God was looking out for you.
No. I'm telling you, this was all God. Like, everybody's in the right place.
Yes.
And also, me going through it was at the right time too. If that makes sense. Like whenever I had the lash outs and the outbursts, or just like the waves of rage, I think they happened at just the right time, where the right people had saw to help me get where I'm going.
Yeah. I was talking to my niece. I'm so sorry, y'all. Y'all see, I'm in my car. The internet just completely it went down. I was like, I don't have time for this. So I'm in the car. I'm so sorry. So I had a niece I was talking to, and you know, I told you that my brother passed, and you know, we were just talking about that one day, and I love the fact that she's able to talk to me about more things. I know she doesn't want to talk about it, but that is a problem, because, you know, when you witness something traumatic, it was so traumatic to me. So I was trying to be her support. She's trying to be my support. I'm like, Lord, I was like, and I was trying to be the support for everybody. I remember I used my EAP from my job to set up something for the whole family. After it was just for me, but the counselor was so good. She let me bring my whole family in. But my mom was really, it was her son, you know, and it's nothing like the loss of a child. So you know, she was very traumatized. So I was like, man, I literally had to shut myself off from having any type of emotional issues with that. So I get what you're saying. Like, when Furman said earlier is about accountability, I really feel what you had said, how I've been on both ends of the spectrum
actually. Never in my life, really, never in my life have I been on the end of the spectrum where I needed help until I needed help. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't happen. It didn't happen in my early 20s or my adolescence years. It didn't happen in my 30s. It happened in my 40s. Lord, happened in my 40s. And then I I knew it, but I did not want to admit it. And I realized it was causing problems later with everybody else around me. Um, but the one thing about being strong for everybody else, um, they don't necessarily believe you. And that's why you having somebody who recognized what was going on, that's truly a blessing. Because when you're literally like the head of the family, let's just put it that way, head of the family, the matriarch, the person that it has been passed down to, right? Because there's always that one person in the family where everybody come to, everybody depend on, everybody want answers from. Um, that is such a huge burden. That is such a huge burden. And I had to get back to my roots. I had to get back to what I knew. And I literally got some help. I got some help on my own. No one else didn't get me help, but I suffered. I suffered for over 2.5 years. And I was like, Lord, if somebody had been there and support me and would have been like, hey, let me call for you, it would have made all the difference in the world. But things happen for a reason. I needed to get back to myself, which I did. And so it's such a blessing, man. Like that really spoke to me. Like, golly, man, you just don't even realize. I can't wait to read your book. Let's just put it that way. I can't wait to read your book. Furman done already told me where to get it from. And can we let our listeners know where to get the book from?
The book is on Amazon. And the book, my main purpose is to bring awareness. So the ebook right now is actually free.
And it is available.
I got like 3 phones, so I'm about to download it in my phone while we speak.
So currently the book is available on Amazon right now, correct? Shavon, it is. Oh, so
Yes,
y'all
sir.
go ahead. Okay, I did put it across the screen. It is available now on Amazon. Let's go ahead and support this young brother and what he's doing. He did say it's a free ebook as well, so there is no excuses. We'd love to check it out and see what it's all about. And I know it's going to help a lot of people. Let's talk about the Soul Panther. Why the Panther? What's the meaning behind the Panther? All the animals in the world, why choose the Panther?
And I know Miss Jones wanted to know why you named it that. I saw her comment and she wanted to know why that title.
It was kind of like it drew from the Black Panther, for minorities. But I chose that title because the Panther is the Panther is strong, but it is also quiet. It tends to be calm before it attacks, and it kind of represented where I was in my life. Like I was in like a survival state of mind, and it's like I wanted to be better. I wanted to be calm, but I didn't have any control over some of my actions or my emotions.
Miss Jones asked another question. She said, are you available to read 2 inserts from your book for us, if you don't mind? And so we've already said that it is on Amazon. It's an ebook and it is it's available for all. And Herman, I see your question as well. So we definitely will get to your question as well.
Okay, let me pull something up.
Well, I'll just read. Why I'm gonna let you pull that up, but I do want to get to Herman's question because being here, we truly appreciate it. Your comments are always welcome. This let us know this is engaging. This is what we are here for. So I know he spoke. Okay, so he said And this is something, it goes back to something that we were talking about a little earlier, but it's just a comment. He said the baby boomers had a lot of problems with that. And I think he was talking about the therapy and all that stuff, the resources, kind of the resources that we have now. The baby boomers had a lot of problems with that because I'm a product of the 60s and 70s, and the new generation has a different way of handling that. So he did talk about what we were speaking about earlier. So thank you, Herman, for your comment. We really appreciate it. And he also mentioned that within the Black community, it just wasn't acceptable. And I feel him on that. I'm a product. I was born in 1980. Okay. And in 1980, what I got when cousins were acting out of line or when they had issues, you did not tell everybody. That was something that what was supposed to be kept secret in the family. Even if you had it made it so hard to even go to your parents about whatever you were feeling. You better not. You know what I'm saying? It was something said, but not, you didn't have to say it. Like, they said it, but they didn't say it. Like, it was just something learned, like, no, handle it yourself type of thing, So, getting back to you, were you able to find 2 inserts from the book?
All right, yeah, I found one. It's called this one is it's called the Lion, the Lamb, and the Fire Between. Some walk with Martin's steady grace, caught in love to a public place. King dreamed aloud of promised ground, where justice lived and chains fall down. Rustin planned with patient hand, believed the law could help us stand. Mandela learned with time and scar how mercy turns the prison bar. But fire rose where wounds were raw. And hold on. Fire rose where wounds were raw. In Malcolm's name, what Martin saw. Malcolm X was not pretend that peace could live where lies defend. Douglas thundered, sharp and clear. Where's your 4th of July to me here? Fannie Lou, with gospel cry, shook the lands and would not lie. Baldwin spoke with prophet's pen, loving truth more than the men, who begged him to soften what he knew. He loved the nations enough to be true. Some learned to whisper to survive. Some learned to shout to stay alive. They told them all, choose softer ground. Choose one voice. Don't make that sound. As if the Spirit ever came without both mercy and holy flame. But Jesus showed the truer way. By night, he healed by night and flood by day. He braided cords with righteous care and turned the tables in the square. He called out wolves in sacred robe, naming the lives that ate their soul. Yet still he knelt, still mercy poured, still broke the bread, still healed the poor. The Lamb who bore the world's deep wrong, the lions fierce against the strong. He washed their feet, then spoke their doom. Whitewashed tombs, truth filled the room. So why should you be split in two when all these saints walk roads Christ drew? Some built the bridge, some guard the flame. Both serve the gospel, both proclaim. When you speak peace, don't kill the fire. When you roar truth, don't lose desire. To heal, restore, forgive, and stand. With nail-scarred love and steady hand. The Martins dreamed the world made new. The Malcolms made it face what's true. And Christ stands whole, not part denied. The lion roars, the lamb abides. So walk in both, be fierce, be kind. A servant's heart, a prophet's spine. For history bends when faith is done by those who know the two are one.
All right. I love that. Yes. Okay. Hey, look, this made me want to go to St. Kofa's and just read an insert from your book. I mean, of course, all credit due to you, of course. But this, you know what? I think I might do that because that's something I've been trying to do. I love poetry. That's beautiful. And I love arts. Like, it amazes me what people are able to do. Art in all forms, from paintings, from the mouth, from which in your case, poems, stories, written novels. This is beautiful. And I love that one. That was really good. Thank you. This is what is in store. So please support this brother right here because you will definitely enjoy. I can tell I'm going to enjoy it. So I'm gonna It's halfway downloaded. So I mean, it's almost downloaded. So yes. Thank you so much for that. I'm gonna
Man,
turn it back over to Fermi.
man, awesome sauce right there, man. Keep up the great work, young man. Also, man, you big shout out to your queen as well, man. You always got to acknowledge your queen, the one that rode with you through the thick and thin, the ups and downs. So give big shout out to your queen.
Ooh, that was a real mom move. I just did a thumbs up.
Yeah, I just want to throw that out there, man. Give a big shout out to your queen, man, for being with you, riding with you through this journey, because it's very rare to find your best friend through the trenches. You know what I'm saying? That y'all have each other's back. You know what I'm saying? So big shout out to her for that. I just want to acknowledge that as we go further. But also I want to say this too. If the Soul Panther, I don't want to say if, well, I can say if the Soul Panther becomes a film, who will be the leading role?
That's an interesting question. I would say anyone that can express, I guess, strength and also like quiet control.
Mm-hmm. So do you think so? Is your book like a flow of your journey, and that's how we will receive the information within your book? Is it a flow? Is it like starting like life's journey? Start my poem here. Is that how the flow of it is? Dang, I guess you know what? I'm asking for too much. No. Guys, download it. No, I think I'm asking for too much.
This I will say, there is like a 3-part I guess autobiography poem in there. So I mean that kind of gives like an idea of what I've been through. And also the last part it talks about up until where I am now, because my journey is not like, it's not done. Like the trauma is still ongoing. I'm still going to therapy, so it doesn't give any resolution just yet, because I'm still living it. I'm still becoming what is happening.
What would you say about that? You speak that you still go to therapy. What would you share to somebody to give yourself mercy and grace? Because we know it's not overnight. We know it's a process. It's a due process. What advice you give someone to give themselves mercy and grace when we miss that mark? And you got to give yourself mercy and grace. What would you say?
I would say that you are not what you've been through. Everything that happened to you doesn't have to define who you are, because no one, like some of the things that I went through, and to other people too, you don't necessarily deserve what you go through all the time, but it happens and you can't let it define you. So I would say be proactive, because in not doing so, you hurt not only yourself but those around you. And also depression is real, man. Like I still battle with depression, and it's like some days I'm fine. Other days it hits me like a Mack truck.
Like you never knew where it came from, right? Yeah, I mean, but that's how it is. And I think a lot of people don't want to recognize depression as a mental disorder because they don't want to think that it is them. I think a lot of people feel like, or still, especially in our generation, it's still like nothing's wrong with me. Nothing's wrong with me. I'm not depressed. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm like, that's a shameful thing, but it really it is what it is. And I think when people get over that stigma, that they will be able to move on. But your depression is something that it is very, very, very real. The weather can change your mood. A single word can spark it. When I went through my deep dark depression, it felt like afterwards, it felt like, I don't know how the feeling, I can't even describe the feeling, but it just felt like I just had a breath. It just felt like I just like rose up and all my blood flow just went to my head or something. And I was just like, I felt so energized. It felt like a dark cloud was just gone. It was just gone. And it was so crazy because back in December, it felt like it was trying to come back. But then I was like, no, Lo, you got to realize Stop fooling yourself. You have talked to people over the years about the same subject. So now you got to get out of this phase of thinking that it doesn't affect you. So, I was like, I recognize what it is, but I won't let it win. I'm not going to let it get to me. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And that's exactly what I did. And because I have such supportive friends, my children, they're very supportive of me. There are some people I don't talk about my issue with them, particularly people who does not have a mindset of I might have been depressed, because they never see me like that. And I think that's the problem. Like, if a person does not see you that way, they don't necessarily believe you. So, and I think that's so hurtful. That is so hurtful. I'm like, how is it? I went to the doctor, and I'm like, how is my doctor seeing this, but my family are all people not seeing it? That's crazy.
Also, with that, I think that there are like symptoms and also signs, but you won't necessarily know it unless you're actually going through it. Because I mean, it's like before before I get depressed, it's like a real high. I gotta get happy out of nowhere. So I know what is coming next. I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm happy for the season, but I know it's coming. And so I try to like prepare myself for it. Because with me, one of the things that I don't want to do when I'm depressed is get out of bed. Like, I'm like, you know what? I'm not out of bed. The best thing that you can do is to get out of bed. Go do something. Because you don't want to sit in that.
Yeah, but that within itself is a hard thing to do too. Sometimes for some people, and that's why I was all up in your business. But that's why I had asked about psychosis, because some people will experience a psychosis prior to anything else. Where they will go on a major shopping spree, or constantly clean. I realized when I knew one of the signs for me. I did not know this here until I started actively studying psychology and saying this is where I want my career path to go into. Like some of those symptoms that you go through prior, I did not realize that I was spending, like I'll spend some stuff. I'll be like, what the hell did I spend that for? Why? Like what? I don't even have anything to show. And then it went from spending to obsessively cleaning. I would obsessively clean. It was like, it was so crazy. And I was like, what the hell? And I was like, I was dusting. I mean, I was dusting everything. I was a dusting queen. Let's just put it that way. And I told myself, "Oh no, this is for my kids because I don't want their allergies. I don't want their allergies acting up." But then I realized, hey, the kids are gone. Like the kids aren't even here. Like, what the hell are you talking about? And that's when, from the high of doing stuff, it would be that low. So let's see what the comment. What I can't see. I got the phone. Read the comment. What did you say?
This was something that Miss Jones had put at 514. She said, as a molested survivor, I was told to never discuss fight against that today. Expose everyone. No, she said, as a molested survivor, I was told to never discuss. I fight against that today. Expose everyone. So basically, she says she was a survivor of being molested. She was told never to discuss that. I know that's a very touchy topic for a lot of people who may went through that.
There has never been a woman that I have not met that have not gone through some type of sexual violence. Not one, including myself. And to have to sit at the same table as your abuser. Yeah. I definitely get where she's coming from. It's crazy. And sometimes you're okay, sometimes you're not. So, I definitely get where she's coming from.
I know that's a very touchy topic. I know that people went through that. But I just want to ask, I know Mrs. Jones, I know she's married. If she's still in the comment section, did you have a discussion with your husband? Because that's another thing I want to know too, because when you come from that, when you come from something like that, how can your significant other handle that? How do they embrace that? You know what I'm saying? I just want to get some feedback off that.
I feel like the best thing that they can do is establish a safe space. Because it is, to me, it's always a touchy subject to go on because you have to revisit it.
Yeah.
It's painful.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
But also, and I was saying this earlier, and I know we mentioned about safe space. That's the thing that triggers. I don't say triggers me, but it's the kind of thing that I don't like. When you can find so much in someone, and y'all have a falling out, now this person will expose everything y'all put out there. Yeah, I see that happen a lot in the age of social media. I see where people want to expose people when they're going through. They have a bad falling out. Why do that for? What? That's the thing that people don't want to trust nobody. Like, I can find in you when you throw this back in my face out of anger. Because something like that, I can't trust you. So I heard TDJ say this years ago at a men's conference. He said, only time a man will open up to a woman when they become first intimate for the first time. But if she throws it back in the face in anger, he shuts down.
It's done. I think that is done. But I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say that. Yeah, I mean, you gotta like see the signs early on. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there are going to be small disagreements and arguments. So if they throw back some small in your face, then they're definitely going to use the big things as ammunition. But
don't do me like that. I would say don't do me like that. If I can find you in something and you do that, I hold it against you for the rest of my days.
Because you're showing me that I'm giving you ammunition to use against me. When I'm being vulnerable with you and you're gonna throw it back in my face, okay. I'll see how this dynamic is. But my biggest thing for wanting to keep everything to myself was like, if I tell you, you can't fix it, so there's no point. But I learned now that through talking about it, there is some kind of resolve in that. For me, the more I talked about it, the lighter it became.
Yeah. That's true. That's true right there.
With me, it was recently that I had forgave, the person that caused my childhood trauma, because it's like me holding on to that is only weighing me down. And it's like this person, this person know what they had did, so they can act carefree when they're around me. But it's like I know, and I know so I didn't want to walk around with that animosity on me, because that it didn't align with where God was calling me to go. Yeah, and that it would set me back, because it would put me in the mood to where, oh, you are just disrupting my peace, and I'm not having a good time now. Like I let it control me. That's what. Yeah, let it control me.
Yeah. I think for a lot of women in my situation, I put up that barrier as if, and it's so sad because my family knew. That wasn't something that they didn't know. They knew, but because of the generation I came from, it was okay. Why are you protecting my motherfucking abuser? Like, what the fuck? I didn't realize I knew back then as a child, like, that had to be the most corrupt shit ever. But to sit here and say that it's been taken care of, and that man didn't serve a single day in prison, it wasn't taken care of in my book. It wasn't taken care of in my book. But I remember, man, in his 80s, he ended up getting cancer, and it ended up spreading all over his body. And I remember I went to visit a different family member, but he was staying there. And, this man would be like, hey, like, nothing ever happened, right? Hey, Lo, like, nothing ever happened. I'd be like, oh, hey. And so, but he was so sick. I'll never forget. He fell and he threw up all over himself. And I was like, there's no need for me to be mad at you anymore. I can forgive you. I can forgive you because you're dying. You're dying. And you're dying in the most horrible way. And I felt bad for him. And I was like, man, that really sucks. Because I know this man was going through some pain. And so I remember helping him to his bed. Went in there, cleaned up his vomit. And I said to myself, I said, God, you put me in a position to see this because you wanted me to forgive this man. I was like, see how that worked? I was like, yep, that's what happened. That's what happened.
No, that's definitely.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely. You know what I'm saying? And I know we at that time frame now. We have to see. I know it's 7, so your time. But I'm gonna do a closeout question, of course. It's a great conversation. Also, I want to give a big shout out to everybody that's watching us on Instagram as well. Big shout out to Porsche. Big shout out to Q. Big shout out to Them B Diva. Big shout out to JustSayN B874. Big shout out to Brown Royal. Big shout out to everybody that's watching us on the Instagram side. We always want to acknowledge those supporting with us and rocking with us on IG as well. So thank you, everybody. Also, man, y'all better go to our channel right now. Let's go ahead and get these numbers up on the JustSayN Podcast. Tap in, subscribe, share on youtube.com/the JustSayN Podcast. Go ahead and subscribe right now. And every time we go live on Wednesday, you always get the notification on your phone, your laptop, whatever you want to be on, to be able to do that. But Shavon, before we ready to close out, how can people, once again, how can they connect with you, and also how can they get the book as well?
Well, my handle on Facebook and Instagram is my first and last name, which is Shavon Barnes. The ebook is free on Amazon, paperback, hardback cover, all that's on Amazon. But yeah, if people have any more questions, then yeah, they can definitely reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram.
Man, awesome.
Good. Hey, I'm not gonna shout out to Spectrum. They suck. I done lost internet control. Internet. Do not go with Spectrum, but I will be changing. Okay, because me doing this for my car sucks. I can't even hold the freaking phone. I don't even have a stand. So I was like, Lord have mercy. Today is just not my day. It's not going out. It's not going right. But yes, thank you for sharing us, taking your time to come on the show. My book is downloaded already, so I'm ready to read it, and I'm excited, for you and the path that you are on your journey. Another thing, big shout out to any mental health organization out there, NAMI, MHMR, a whole bunch of organizations that are out there helping people right now, therapists, counselors, you name it, because it is a hard job. It is a hard job, and you take on a burden you don't realize you take on. So people are important, and it takes a village. And sometimes that village comes in professionals, and we have to have them in order to succeed and do the things that we need to do. So keep up the good work, guys. Thank you to all our mental health professionals out there. Thank God for the mother of your child for recognizing what you were going through and putting you in creating a safe space for you, because it tapped into some stuff that you didn't even realize that you didn't even realize you needed at that time. And yes, and it's so important to have that support group. So yes, it's great. It's great. Thank you to my co-host, my brother from another mother, Furman. It's always a pleasure. I promise you guys, I won't have this problem next week. I promise, for sure. But yeah, that's what I have to say.
Man, awesome stuff. Appreciate it as well, Lola, also as well. And Shavon, thank you, sir, for taking time of your productive schedule to be on here. Like, we about to get ready to part. We way over time. But other than that, man, we'll be back here next Wednesday, same time, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. Make sure y'all go ahead to our YouTube channel. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every time we go live on Wednesday, you get the notification. Extraordinary people out there doing extraordinary things. Shavon, keep it a great work, young man. I salute you, King, and all that you do. Sky's the limit. You ain't seen nothing yet, young man. Just keep reaching higher and higher. Stay consistent. Stay focused. And like I said, everything else that you want in life will come to fruition for you. Big shout out to your family. Big shout out to your wife. I want to say your wife. Big shout out to your wife and everything else for her supporting you and pushing you to the next phase of y'all journey together as y'all write this book together. So,
okay. All right, then. Thank you.
All right. So you're welcome. We out this thing, man. Peace, everybody.
Peace.